Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for having me on. I'm Walter Coulter. I'm a financial planner by trade. Um, I run a company called Cornucopa, especially financial consulting firm. Crazy part is I just launched the website last night. I also have a candle company. You can see I got millions of candles burning. So I own a candle company called Lit Candle Company. So we make regular candles. We have a massage oil, intimacy lubricant candle that we make that's coconut oil based. So at the moment, that's where most of my energy is heading. Yeah, I have a small car business, so I help people buy cars and stuff, but for the most part, that's about it right now.
Diversified game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you are going to get some real financial game. And I'm going to tell you, I got another one from Demetri K, because that last guest that she had who got duped in Brazil, well, this one didn't get duped because this is her brother. And, and that was a good interview, but this one is also going to be a good one. But this is going to be some game you can also use so you won't be confused about your finances. And I love talking about retirement. So, Sir Walter, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We got perfect weather. I mean, I cannot complain. It's going well right now. All right, you guys got weather. We got your weather right now.
Yeah, I mean, you in California, in the house, surviving, thriving, winning, belly is full. So yeah, you can't complain at all.
Oh no, can't complain. It is expensive out here, so we're one of the fortunate ones.
Yes. Well, tell us, how did you get there? Because I know in talking to you, you're not a blue blood. Nothing was just given to you. But a lot of people now are confused with AI and they hear everything that's, gonna happen in doomsday, but their finances aren't even right. And they're saying $1 million isn't enough, but they don't even have $100,000 saved in their retirement. I know that because they're not part of the 14%. So give us the game on how you got here.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna piggyback on what you just said and I answer that question. First of all, you don't need $1 million to survive. You can retire on less than 100,000. Most people they don't know what to do with the money. Hell, if you had 10, 15 grand, you could get the party started and not be punching the clock. So we can get into that. But how I got here, I mean, my parents, I was born in Santa Barbara. My parents were together. We moved to LA. Sometimes parents they separate, and then we moved somehow from Santa Barbara, ended up in the Inland Empire. And so I've been in Cali for the most part all my life. And then as far as how I got here in business, is my father had his own business. He was a mechanic. So when I was a kid, he would take me to work with him every day. And that's just what I saw. Man get up, man go to work, man come home, wife and kids at home. I saw that my whole life growing up. And so it made sense to me that I should get up and do the same. So I've always been business minded, just based on what I saw, my father doing, getting up, going to work, how he treated customers, all that stuff. I just saw it. And so when I became an adult and got a job, I was like, man, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And you got a job, that's cool, because something having a job, well, before AI it was security. So it's having a job is cool, but I was like, you know what? I need to be blazing my own path. So I went to a few things. I must have started like 20 businesses. And then it's funny, I was selling life insurance. And then I answered an ad because the company I was with, they went out of business, by email. We're out. All your commissions, those are gone. So I was like, whoa, I need to do something. Because, I'm expecting a $30,000 check and I need that money because at the time I had 4 kids and a wife and that just disappeared. So I answered an ad for American Express financial advisors, and they hired me, trained me. I knew a little bit about finance from being around my father, but they trained me from the ground floor up. Investments, estate planning, tax planning. I mean, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, you name it. stock market comes on and all those numbers, and I can read that shit like Neo. So they taught me all that stuff. And so then, I started, and this is kind of where how I got like here. So I was doing well in that. But one of my buddies was like, hey man, we need you to come help our people and go deal with these entertainers and all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And I was doing well. I was at 300 grand in 2004. My mortgage was 1100, car paid off. I mean, I had money all over the place. And so I was like, all right, let me go help these brothers. Man, I tell you, I escaped out of there with a spoon in my underwear on.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Man, that was that was a wild time.
What went wrong?
Well, I can tell you what, man, and I'm going to be delicate with this because I've been trying to figure out how to say this. But, sometimes I got a saying, you cannot, thou that catch a falling knife shall get cut. I went in there thinking I can help these people, the entertainment, the rappers, and some of them were cool. Like I had Kanye West he was my best client. I picked him up when College Dropout was a buzz clip on MTV when they used to play music. So I got with him, got with a couple NFL guys. So right off the bat, I got some heavy hitters. The downside with that is those heavy hitters, especially some of my cats in the NFL, they had Thug Nation around them. So I managed the money for them and buying real estate and apartments and doing things were moving. But man, the goons, the boys were just like, we need this. You got to do this. And, I was like, man, that's not sanctioned. This is new information. And it just got to the point, to kind of skip ahead, man, where I was being like extorted. I got kidnapped once. Man, it was bad. It was just like some crazy stuff. People breaking into my house. Death threats. If you don't buy this crib for this dude, we're going to see this guy. We're going to take him. It was to the point one day I'm sitting there with a hitman like, okay, I need some help. And he was like, man, if you do this, you're going to be looking over your shoulder every time you see red lights, you're going to think they're coming for you. And so I was like, I'm in this too deep. And so, I exited that situation. I called Kanye's mom when she was alive. I was like, you know what, Donda, I gotta, I'm gonna exit the situation. And I turned him over to the CPA firm in LA I was working with. I was working with Willie McGinnis from the Patriots, Seymour from the Patriots. I had some heavy hitter clients, but I wasn't ready for the goons, that were coming at me. So I pretty much went from 300 grand house, money everywhere, to losing everything and just, having to regroup. Me and my sister tell the funny story where because the crazy part is I was at her house. So when I first got Kanye West, I was at her house sitting on the couch. We were just talking. When it all ended and I just said, forget it. I'm going to walk away from the money in my cars and just regroup. I was sitting on her couch when they picked up my car from the bank. And I was just like, this is full circle. And so, I went through all that. And so I've been kind of just, putting off getting back into financial planning. So I said, this time I'm just going to go back to what I was doing, working with the everyday cat that makes 100 grand, 200 grand. Some cats made 45 grand. They wanted to save a few $100, make sure they had life insurance, or estate was in order. They had a stroke. The kids wasn't changing the diaper. You know what I'm saying? If their mama fall ill, they not seeing her naked because they putting their mama in the tub. So I said, I'm gonna go back to doing that. So
Okay, I want you to clarify when you say, the extortion, because some people have no idea. They're like, that only happens in movies like Casino with Philip Green, was the clean guy for the mob, or in Carlito's Way, where Sean Penn was the lawyer and then he became the goon and the villain, which thank God you didn't go that way. But how do you get caught into that? Is it taking the money, taking the client, or is it that just that devil comes like a roaring lion and says, hey, you did this one thing for me. Now I feel like I own you.
Well, what happened was I was just dealing with people. There was no foundation. I come from a 2-parent home. I know we don't all have that, but even though my parents were divorced, I've always had a man in the house, always. And sometimes I had 2 men in the house. And so there's certain things that I didn't do because I had a father to deal with. My father just passed away, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, he wouldn't like that. So I think a lot of that was missing. And then you're dealing with folks like in hip hop and music, man, they're flossing and all that stuff. But I'm sitting with them on set and I'm watching them floss. And then I'm watching the rental company take all the stuff away. And I'm watching all the video hoes, watching them leave with their $75. And then whatever they're going to do to stay relevant that night, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm seeing all this and I thought I could fix it. So what I did is I came down to their level. So I'm sitting in lounges and I'm at the Super Bowl because 2 of my clients played for the Patriots. So I'm at the Super Bowl. I'm in it, but I made myself too visible because now everybody sees, oh, this is Willie McGinnis, financial planner. And I went everywhere with Willie. Super Bowls, like you name it. Like I remember we walking in the clubs and just Ben Roethlisberger, and or I'm in Hawaii with him with what's his name, the 2 white boys, the Peyton, Archie, like we all sitting in Hawaii at the Pro Bowl. I'm just like, and I'm the only finance guy there. And I happened to be a brother on top of that, which made me stand out. So I remember walking Peyton Manning drunk to his hotel room. So I was too visible. And so what happens is people started coming at me. Oh, we need you to buy this building. Like I went into escrow in the building with a cat, and his father is like, if I said his name, you would know him. His father's like was the real deal on the East Coast. But I go to pull out of escrow because the deal's not making sense to me. And he's threatening the buyer. Like, when we gonna take him out? I'm like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? What you mean you gonna take him out? The deal don't look good. He don't want it. And then it was just nuts, man. Then a lot of that world, they're fighting over women, man. I saw some $1 million deals fall apart over a side piece, and more than once. And so there was just no structure. And then you got people. So what happens when you have a cat that gets a $200,000 advance and he goes out and buys a watch and gets into a car, he'll leave a 2-year-old car that was nice and already flossed out to get into a brand new one and just wash the money down the drain. But then what happens is that money disappears and they still have to keep that profile. And so that's why you see the musicians and entertainers, they fall so hard. And I watched it happen with a bunch of groups. You name it. I've seen these guys fall. And so they want to keep that persona, and then they got all their goons around them. So they got to take care of them. And it's the goons that I was dealing with, breaking into my house, threatening me. I remember driving to a McDonald's once and giving somebody 10 grand in a bag. And at that point, I was just the regular financial planner, wake up, get his kids ready, drop his kids off to school, go to the office, come home, put on the apron and barbecue. I was that dude. My wife didn't work, so she was at home. I was just a square, regular dude going to work, going home. And then I got in with the goons and hip hop and the slime. I wasn't ready for it. So that would have happened to me today, it would be a different outcome. Because now I know with money comes power. And I was a millionaire when I went into the situation. I didn't even need the money. I was just bought into help the Black people, help our culture. And since Black people, our entertainers, are our leaders, I was like, I'll start with them. Worst decision I ever made. I love Kanye West to death. He's my best client ever. Coolest dude I ever met. He's right 99% of the time. And Willie McGinnis too, and some of my clients, like cool dudes. It was just the stuff around them that.
What I mean, a guy coming from Santa Barbara, and I know Santa Barbara. My uncle had Pizza Bob's. That's his shop back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
There was only one of us in Santa Barbara
And
until
I was
about
that
my
one.
cousins.
Man, let me tell you, I was me, and I had this sister girl at my school. It was two of us. Man, I was surrounded by white women and white people, man. And the crazy part is, I would try to be delicate with this. Because I was out there in Santa Barbara, man. We lived 7 blocks from the water. It was just, I didn't see stress. Like my stress was, hey mom, I need a pair of these OP shorts because all my friends at school have these shorts. I want some of those. I'm walking to school, I'm in zips and toughskins. Like, you got to upgrade me. So I got a paper route them. I bought my own shorts, bought my own Nikes. Actually, my father bought my Nikes. I can't front on that. He bought my Nikes, but that world was just mad. People laughing, the moms picking them up. I go to the house, the mom and the dad in the house. Saturdays, we going to football practice. It's all family shit. And so when we come to Riverside, all that changed. And then when I would go back to LA, South Central, because my father, my stepfather, we went back to Santa Barbara. And then my father moved. He was in South Central. So when I would go to South Central, I saw all the craziness, the negativity. You sound white. Like this, we black people, and we struggling over here. But I'm a black man coming from an all white neighborhood, and we still did what we did. We were still black. My stepfather, my mom still went to work. We did what the black people in LA were doing. It was just the state of mind was different. You see what I'm saying? So I was that guy thinking, and I even, as I got older, I thought maybe people would just adjust, and they didn't. So I'm in the hornet's net with these people that they're not concerned about their future.
Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai. Then download the Millionaire X app, your AI-powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business. It's different.
We got a whole series on this because I had a similar background. That's why I was in Santa Barbara when we would visit, my uncle's shop. And I remember he would always have a video game in his house, in his beautiful house. I'm like, we could play Centipede right here, right? Like, that's the type of plush lifestyle Santa Barbara has coming from the Bay Area. But your father was also NOI. I think he might have been FOI.
Yeah, my father. Yep, he was Muslim, like straight Muslim, like in the photos in the 60s. He was a number one Muhammad Speaks newspaper guy in the country. Matter of fact, there's a picture I have of him with all the brothers, like the number one brothers, and there's one dude holding the baby, and that's him. I'm in the photo with all the Muslims. Like, I wasn't even 1 year old yet. So yeah, my father was that dude.
How did he get to Santa Barbara?
He was selling newspapers in Santa Barbara, and he met my mom there. So he used to sell Muhammad Speaks to my grandmother, and that's how he met my mom. So
okay,
that's how the Santa Barbara thing happened. And then of course my grandmother lived in Santa Barbara. So when my parents split, we went to Santa Barbara. we just, we stayed there for a little bit. To my stepfather, we moved around, and we ultimately ended up moving back to Ventura. We went back and forth. There was my 1979 was 80, 81. That was my parents. It's funny how you remember those events that you remember. 79 for me was that pivotal moment. So there was a lot going on in that time.
What do you think about people like us, where when we would go to school and we would be the only one, and then you can survive that, but then you go back into a black school and you're told, like you said earlier, oh, you sound funny. And I hate what you had said, because I'm like, why? Because I'm talking proper. Enunciating. I'm getting all my vowels. I know how to fight, and I know you know how to fight growing up in that area, because it's like a fight physically and mentally and everything else. But what do you think about parents now who will do the voluntarily busing? They'll drive an hour so their kids can go where they're the only black child, or the only Mexican child, or the only whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because people talk about, we mix the races and we come at each other, but when they make it, they leave. I tell you, that's the first thing they do. And they leave. I don't care who it is, from the everyday parent to Snoop Dogg. Snoop house 15, 20 minutes from here in Claremont. I've been to his house. Ain't a brother in sight. So it's crazy that when people do well, they move. And it kind of, going back to what you were saying, when I was in Santa Barbara, I was the only black kid in my class. And one time, the only black kid, it felt like, in my school. But man, I can tell you, I didn't have no problems. I went to school. Everybody was chill. And the girls, me being a black man in an all-white school, the women loved that. So I didn't have no issues meeting women. Man, I remember when my parents, I found out we was moving. Man, I've been chasing this girl for a year. She was so fine. Whew, man, I was ready to give it all up for her, and she was giving me play, and we moved. I wanted to kill my parents. But it was cool. Was there racism around? Sure, but I didn't see it. They weren't coming. I was there. I've never been called the N-word. The first time I was called a nigga was by a black dude. You know what I'm saying? I was there. It's like, I didn't know that I needed to be protesting. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be okay. It was cool. It's like I shouldn't say dumb dude, but the guy you see all happy in the movies, he's having a good time, him and his girl. I was like Ola Ray and Thriller. I'm just skipping the shit as it's all cool, turn around, and this food and turn into the Thriller. That's what it was like when I came back to LA. I felt when I came to South Central, that's when I became unsafe. When I was surrounded by all of my people, because they were treating me crappy because of the way that I spoke and the way that I behaved. I mean, it was every other day. And I'm talking, you standing there and there's a group of people coming at you, like 5, 6 people in a circle. We used to call it Captain Baggin. And then even when we moved, because we were back in Ventura and we went to the Riverside, we moved back and forth. It was nuts. But when we ended up in Riverside, I remember walking into school. I had a beach bag, because that's what we did. We had a tote bag. And I was dressed, for cool weather. And I remember the kids just coming at me like, what's with the bag? Why you dressed like that? Like, just coming at me all black. And I was like, what did I just walk into? You know what I'm saying? These are my people. And so, yeah. And I don't know what it is, why we do that, but it's just crazy. So I wasn't ready for the attack from my people. I thought, if anything, because of my father being Muslim, it was, hey, watch the white man, be careful, work with them, but just understand who they are. I mean, that was kind of, me and my father's conversation. And so I expected it to come from the white man, all the shit I went through. I expected it to come from them. But 99% of my issues came from people that look like me, which is
I feel you. No, I feel you 110%, all the way. And can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Um, I want to know, with that, yeah, like coming from California, I know coming to down south and they say you guys talk funny, everyone talks funny. But when you start seeing black suburbs, and again, I'm here in South Florida, and a lot of my neighbors now are black, but this area used to be Klan in the 80s, they said. Black folks didn't come. Now you have whole blocks of just black folk with acres and they're shooting on their property, horses. Um, that California lifestyle is a beautiful one, but the racial dynamic sometimes is like prison to me.
Well, the crazy part is, but it's the left out here that's pushing that narrative. It's not. It's us pushing that narrative. I don't ever leave my house. I don't, man. I don't worry about those other races. They don't bother me. Because I tell people, man, white people, Mexicans, they got their own problems. They dealing with AI like us. They dealing with illegal immigration like we are. They feeling the same stuff. Every time I leave my house, I don't have to be a protest. I don't have to be pissed at. I don't have to be angry. So, I mean, California is the left have destroyed this place, man. Because it's unnatural to. He's like, you want to have your somebody's son with his ding-a-ling swinging in the locker room with your kid, your daughter. Come on, man. Like that don't add to the stretch as far as my imagination would go does not make sense. It's always something out here, man. I'm just like, it's hard enough to be in a home and have your stuff together and save money out here. Then you got to add some other stuff too. Nah.
Well, and talking about the money, with inflation and everything that happens with our gas prices are crazy. So I know yours are double.
We paying
But what are you
$7.
huh?
We paying $7
Oh,
for
wow.
gas.
And that ain't the first time. Because I remember back, that's not the first time. But what are you telling people to do right now to make more, to save more? I had to flip my hat. For those of you most of you listen, go to YouTube, you'll see I had to put the VTSAX on and chill. But what are you telling people to do for the money to get for retirement? Because Grant Cardone and Robert Kiyosaki are telling people just borrow more, and supposedly your business is going to blow up one day and you'll have enough assets to never pay tax. But most people won't get to that 100 million plus limit. What are you telling people to do? Your clients?
Well, they're right. Okay, they're on the right track, but leverage is the monster. If you can use leverage, if you can use credit cards and leverage right, you'll be fine. That's what I was saying earlier. You don't need $1 million to retire. You don't need 100 grand. When I say retire, I don't mean just lay at home and just lay in bed all day. I'm talking about where you can control the narrative, where you can say, okay, I'm not going to get up and leave the house today, but my money is out there moving. So for instance, let's say you got a credit card and you got 10 grand on it. You can hit that credit card. You can open you a website. I went to Hostinger and opened up my cornucopia.com website. It was like $3, $1.99 a month for a website. Social media is free. All you need is to figure out something that you could do. I'm doing the candles because I used to always buy candles. I'm doing finance because I understand how money works. So, and then you could take your credit cards. Like when I got into the car business, I was watching CNBC and I saw they were saying Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were going into the auto industry. And I went, oh shit. Okay, so I was on my way out to work. I sat down and I grabbed my notepad. I was like, okay, I think Bill Gates was going into Auto Nation or something like that. And so I went online and I just started looking at wholesale prices of cars. And I go, wait a minute. I can buy a car for $2,000 from one of these auto auctions and go sell it for $5,000 on the streets. Oh no. So I started doing that. And so that takes, if you got 10 grand, I'm telling you, man, you can get your dealer's license. It's a couple $100 plus some fees and this and that. You might be $500 to $1,000 when it's all said and done. You can walk into an auto auction, if you know something about cars, and you can buy And I got a Range Rover in front of my house, a 2012 LR4, 7 seats, black on black, in excellent condition. I paid $2,600 for this Range Rover. The cat before me paid damn near 90 for it. And it's got everything. Now it's only worth 6-7 grand, but damn, if I can turn that 26 into even 5,500 or 5,200, I'm gonna double my money. So you know what I'm saying? Then I gotta pay my bills, and then I'm like, okay, I'm back down to 2,600, but this month I need to turn that 2,600 2 times. So now I gotta turn it once to get to 52, and I gotta turn it again to get to 11. Now I pay my bills at 3 grand. Now I got 8. You could do that with a $10,000 credit card. You could do that with 5 grand. You could do that with 3 grand, man. You, Pookie, and Banana Man, y'all can each pitch in $2,000 and you can go do what I just said. And a lot of the people I know are doing that. So I'm telling my clients, you need to start thinking like that. Woman, you like to buy purses? Make the purses. Go down to downtown LA, or let's take a trip to Thailand. You haven't been to Thailand, need to go. Take your woman, though. Man, you can get a Taylor shirt with your name on it, fitted, everything for like $12. And you can ship that stuff over here and sell it for 100 on your website. Dude, I'm telling you, there's a million ways. So I tell people, think like a business owner. Number 1. 2, if you got debts, you need to rearrange them. So with my clients, first thing I do is say, let me see all your debts. Okay, you're paying $3,000 a month on your car and all your credit cards, and you got a mortgage. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get rid of that car. That's $800 and $200 in insurance. That don't make no sense. We're gonna get rid of that car, and we're gonna sell that car. I'm quick to hit Carvan and CarMax. We're gonna give them that car. I'll fight for the money, and then what we're gonna do is maybe tap one of your credit cards, or hit your 401k, or hit your bank account, or hit an IRA, or hit something. You know, we'll have to deal with the rules, and we're gonna get your car paid off. So that money is now yours. And then we're gonna consolidate. See, some people have money sitting in investments and things, but they got debts too. So if you got money in a 401k, or you got money in an investment plan earning you 6% a year, but you paying 12 to Visa, that don't make no sense. So what I do is I'll like, let's take the thing that's killing you the most, and that's the debt. So I'll deal with the debts. I just have another client. I was like, we're gonna take your credit card and do one of those 0% offers for 18 months. It gives you 18 months, no interest. And then what you could do is we could start whacking things off with no interest. You know, just took another person to City National. I was like, hey, we have some money saved. We're gonna put this money in your bank, and what you're gonna do is give us a loan. And they gave us a loan at 2% to pay off the rest of the debts. And the money that this person had wasn't doing nothing anyways. It was just sitting. So I just moved it from Bank of America to City National. City National's like, here's a 2% loan, pay off the rest of your stuff. She went from $3,000 to $1,000 a month in payments. So I'm like, damn. And she just a regular chick working a job, but getting rid of the car payment and restructuring the debt. Damn, she's like 3 grand to the plus. Now from that, take that 3 grand and save it. And, you know, I keep a little financial calculator on my phone. I'm like, if you take, you know, I said, if you take 2 of this and you can get 20% a year on your money, in 10 years, you'll be on your way to $1 million. If you put up this 3,000 in 10 years, you'll have $1 million, not in 30, but in 10. And that's not including what you have already. And so she was like, well, how do I get 20? I said, you got $1,000. At the end of the year, that $1,000 needs to be $1,200. That's it. See, business owners and people that can get their hands dirty understand. And I had a client say to me once, Walter, you're a financial planner. You're trying to get me to a mutual fund, but I'm making 12 to 20% on my trust deeds. I loan people money to buy houses and cars. If they don't pay, I get the car back. He goes, I'm making more money than you, but I got to put some money somewhere. So that's why I'm messing with you. He goes, you put me in a value fund and that shit's down 20%. All my stuff is up. Do explain why I'm giving you 2 grand a year. I said, it's going to come back. Just hold up. So I tell people, like, just look at things that you're good at. Can you make money from it? Like these candles that are burning, man. I used to buy candles. And then during the pandemic, I was like, what's the cost to make one of these candles? It's like $3 to $5 to make a luxury candle. I'm selling them for 19. So I'm like, damn it, $15 a candle, man. I need to sell 100 of these a week to make $6,000 a month. So to make 70 grand, I need to sell 100 of these candles a week. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just saying, you know what, I need to stop, get rid of the noise. And so you don't need 100,000. I started that business with less than $1,000. Website, candle supplies, the wax maker, everything it takes to make. I spent less than $1,000. So if you can find ways to create little income streams and then restructure your debts, then you don't need $1 million. I mean, like, think about this. If you get rid of your car payments and credit cards, right? You can make your life easier. And then when it comes to housing, I tell all my clients, if you're going to move, get an extra room in your house. And people like, because one of my buddies was like, man, I'm looking for a house. I'm looking for a 1-bedroom for me and my kid. I go, dude, why don't you get a 3-bedroom and rent out 2 of the rooms on Airbnb and let them pay your whole rent and mortgage, and you can decide who comes in and who doesn't. So right now, it's me. I'm in a 3-bedroom house. I got 2 empty rooms. Well, my assistant lives with me. She runs a candle company, but I got an empty room. That room pays me $70 a night. You know what I'm saying? That's depending on the occupancy. That's 1,000 to 15, 16 during raves and events, almost 2,000 a month. My rent is $3,000. And I rent this crib. I own other properties, but I rent where I stay just for the flexibility. And you're not for $3,000 moving into a house like this in California. Not buying it anyways. So
At all. Not even a shack.
dude, the apartment across the street from me, they want $2,800 for a 2-bedroom. I got 3 bedrooms. So it's just stuff like that. You like Grant Cardone has this thing. He goes, where is the money? So when I wake up, I go, where's the money? So you don't need $1 million. That's fantasy. You can go out. And here's the other thing I tell my clients, and I do it with all my new clients. We're going to buy some land. We're all buying land. I don't care. It's a non-negotiable. You go out and buy you a piece of property, and you can pull your RV onto it, and you can dig a hole to the ground because there's an ocean under the earth. You can dig a hole, dig you a well, and get you some solar panels, and you can get you a giant tent and some net, and you can grow your food, and you don't ever have to leave this place. So what we're doing is we're doing a apocalypse planning where when the AI and the mummies show up, and believe me, when the food supply gets cut off, the cannibals will show up. I promise you that. So I'm like, if you have a piece of property and you can buy an RV for $3-4 grand, one that you could drive and park, people are dumping their stuff out here. So I go into, let's take care of the foundational stuff. If I don't have to worry about, like, I'm paying rent here, I'm getting help from the business and Airbnb. So I'm not really paying the rent. I'm just moving that, I couldn't Airbnb without the crib. But, me and my ex-girl, we bought 5 acres in Joshua Tree for like $50,000, water and electricity. We graded it. Somebody offered me $250,000. I told them to kick rocks. I said, if you offer me $250,000, it's worth $500,000. So,
Yeah.
And I always tell people, worst case scenario, I can buy an RV for a few grand and I could drive it and park it there and plug it up to my water. And I got an electric pole on the property. I can call SCE and be like, hey, we're starting to build, and they'll give me temporary power until I build my house. Even if it takes me 5 years, they'll give me they'll give me a power source that I can run to my, so these are some of the things that if you can do that, you don't need all that money. Because then you just got to worry about food, and then you can start worrying about, taking care of you. So that's what I tell a lot of my clients. And then I say, when you walk in the room, see who's got money. Your girlfriend, what are you guys doing together? Like, she's blowing money on bags. That don't make no sense. Like a Chanel bag is $6,000. Man, with $6,000, you can go out and buy 2 of these Range Rovers I just bought. Have one you drive and you flip the other one on, and you tell your boss to kick rocks. So you don't need $1 million. You don't need 100,000. You don't need 50,000. But what you do need is just to take a step back and say, what am I missing here? How can I move this money? So it's not, you don't need a bunch of money. What you need to do is you need to be in control of your money and just get rid of your debts. Like I know I have a friend of mine. He was in this $2 million crib, beautiful house. The real estate market tanked. Man, this dude short sold his house to his mother-in-law. He paid $2 million for it. She paid $600 for it. Do you know this fool is back in that house? And it's worth 3.5. But like he cashed out. He's like, man, I'm filing bankruptcy. He gave back the Mercedes for the S class. Last time I saw him, he was back in the S class in my driveway, back in the house. So sometimes you need to let it go too. You know, I told one person, you get all this stuff, you don't have no assets. Tell Visa, American Express, tell all those guys to kick rocks, but let's do it all at once. So if you're gonna take the hit on your credit, let's do it all at once. And in 2 or 3 years, so let's say you're paying $2,000 a month on credit cards, and you're barely scraping. Tell them to kick rocks. Take that and they gonna come after you. They gonna try and sue you. Blah 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 blah. Even with a judgment, what? It's gonna take them years to collect. You have an LLC with you and one other person. They can't ever touch that money. So I don't care what you got over there. Personally, as long as you got an LLC that's functioning, they can't touch that money if you keep it right. So, but after 2 years of saving that $2,000, man, what is that? That's $50,000. You can start a business, a brick and mortar business with inventory with $50,000. Down in California, Lake Elsinore, you can buy a piece of property for 15 grand that is 10 minutes from the water. But it's a small piece of land. It's only big enough for a small RV. And the crazy part is some of these cats are willing to carry the paper. They own the land. You give them $1,000 and $200 a month, and they'll give you the deed to the property. So I'm like,
we got
don't get me
deals like
started.
that still in Florida.
Yeah.
And in Punta Gorda, I got a deal like that, and I'm like a holdout owner right now because they've offered a good amount of money. Yeah, I'm that guy. We can close right now $100K, knowing you paid 10 for it. But I'm like, well, if you'll pay me 100 right now for that small piece of land, I'll wait, because I saw my neighbor sell their property with the trees are still fully stacked, more than an acre. They bought it in the 80s for like $800. It sold for $200,000.
Wow.
So I'm that guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. You know, same way you're gonna wait when they try to offer you $250. Nah, I need more.
Well, and I'm gonna keep it because one thing about it's land is the key. Land, they make houses in this, but they don't make more land. So if you get you a piece of land, you always have somewhere to go. Even if you were going to be homeless and you own a piece of land and you drove your car and you slept there every night, there's nothing they can say to you because that is your property. So like I looked at a house in Texas on the lake in Lake Conroe. They wanted 72 grand for this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom mobile home, 5 minutes walking to the water. You know, the guy just he was going to carry the loan. Somebody beat me to it. But I'm like, no money out of pocket, no credit check. He wanted a small down payment, and then he just wanted like 8%. Somebody beat me to it. But those deals are out there. So when somebody says, oh, I'm struggling, it's just, no, you're just choosing to do that. Because you could do what I just said, and you're not going to be flossing in the metropolitan area. But like, I know in the back of my mind, if shit ever got bad, I could take my cars and the money I have saved, and I could go buy an RV, and I could plug up to my property, and I could wake up with no bills, no mortgage, just property tax and a water bill and electricity bill. I could work at Starbucks down the street, where I could get on the corner. Since all the illegal immigrants are gone, I can get me a bag of oranges and some flowers, and I can go out there and make $100 a day. And that's the other thing. And I don't want to go hard in the paint on illegal immigrants. But man, one thing Donald Trump, I don't care what you say about Trump, he is doing black people a favor. Man, you had We had so many illegal immigrants here, man. They're getting the jobs, and even the people that own the businesses, they weren't hiring blacks. They was hiring their own people. They were everywhere out here. Man, you'd be hard pressed to find a guy at Home Depot right now. But where are the young black kids that can go do those jobs, cut the grass, go stand at Home Depot? You 19 years old, you don't have a job. Get you a little bag and a hammer and a tool belt and go stand your black ass at Home Depot with the last Mexican dude that's left over there and go say, hey, man, I'm here for work. You know what I'm saying? But we're not doing that. I don't know. I don't see none of us on these corners, not knocking on no doors. The opportunities are there. And when Trump closed that border, man, it opened up all that opportunity. But we're still protesting No Kings protests. Like, you protesting for somebody, when they get over here, they're not going to even look your way. Like look what happened to Jasmine Crockett. And she's not a fan of mine. I'm not a fan of hers. But like, you riding out for these people and they don't even come vote for you. We need to cut that out.
So what do you think it is with us? Are we financially illiterate? Are we just, money dysmorphia? Because people surely have money for lashes and BBLs and cars and things that don't add value to me. They don't make any money unless you're a prostitute or something like that, or chains. But what do you think it is about us? Because when people say, oh, nobody told me, and that's not just a white or black issue, it's almost like it's an American issue, but it's like, no one told you how to get some on a Friday night at 1:59 before the club closed.
Yeah, that's not an excuse. Nobody told me. You got YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. When I was a kid, when I first got into finances, CNBC, YouTube, Bloomberg, YouTube. YouTube wasn't there, but like Bloomberg, CNBC used to come on TV. That stuff, like cable television. Everybody had cable. It's just what people choose, what they choose to watch. And African Americans, we bring a lot to the table, man. We've made it through all kinds of things, Jim Crow, slavery, all these things. We made it through the civil rights madness, and we still surviving. And I know back in the days, the black family, the black neighborhoods were solid. But what happens is, when you take the man out the house, and then you let our entertainers lead us, and then you have the liberals telling us what to do, that's our problem. And I think black people as a whole, we are obsessed with pain. We romanticize pain and suffering. Like, I'm gonna steal this from my boy. I'm gonna go a little hard in the paint on it, but his thought, and I haven't figured out a way for me to say this without getting killed in the comment section, but he goes, we won the lottery in the slave trade. I said, oh man, do tell. He goes, out of the 12 million slaves that were brought from Africa, 300 ended up in the US. And those 300 are doing the best in the world. He says, as a matter of fact, Africans are still 2.5 million to the tune of them coming to America. That shit with Eddie Murphy was real. They're coming to this country. Africans all over the world are breaking their neck. African descent, Cuban, Jamaican, you name it. Everything is African, damn near. They're breaking their neck to get here. We are here already, and we're talking about this place like it is the worst thing ever. But you got those people trying to get here and get what you got. So black people, been through some things, but I think we have to say, yeah, we were slaves. But can we take the good from that? I don't want to sound like Kanye when he's like, oh, it's a choice, but like, slavery happened. So we can't go undo it. So why not just take the good from it and succeed? Like I tell my sons, you are a black man. You put on a black suit and tie, you get out of a clean car. Dude, cancel Christmas. Man, you can't cross the street out here. Man, you get 4 or 5 black men in suits and ties, get out of a black SUV and walk into a restaurant, man, please. I tried that with my boys, man. We were like, in the cartoon where the people turned into the hot dog. Dude, that was us. So I said, we have it made. And we have a thing about us where we can create stuff out of nothing. So I think we have what it takes. We just need to let go of our leaders that sit in the pool pits and say, oh, you got to praise Jesus first. No, you don't. What you need to do is get your black ass to work, do the work, and give God the glory. So you think that Jesus is going to come. Jesus don't hand out Grammys. He don't hand out AVN awards, and he don't hand out Golden Globes. He don't do none of that. You do that. And whoever you want to praise, you do that. So I think it's our leaders. Like I'm working on the book. It's called Nigger Rich. And it's about just this. Why are black people suffering? And I think it's our religion, the way that we use religion. I think it's our entertainers, the fact that our entertainers are leaders. When I look at the Jews and the Indians, and the Mexicans, like their leader is Cesar Chavez, or was, but for some reason, like Cardi B is at the Democratic National Convention, or Megan Thee Stallion, or I'm like, in what world is it cool to have a twerking entertainer be up front at our political rally? So I think it's entertainment. I think it's the school system. I'm working on another book, School is for Dummies. The school system has totally destroyed our kids and black kids. Black kids think I got to go to Harvard or Spelman to be somebody, versus just get up, start a business. The guy that owns a handyman or a gardening business that makes $200,000 cutting grass, and he's got 4 employees. He walks into the event, and the dude that went to Howard that makes $62,000 is talking crap about the guy that said 200 and hired 3 people from Howard. So we have some of those things. And then the fourth thing is, I think this is roots. I have 65 vegetables, plants in my backyard because I'm just growing my food. If you cut the roots, that tree is dead. We have to go back and not like find our roots, so to speak, but we need to know where we come from. Like I was talking to Dee this morning. I said, everything black is better. I do ginger. I just realized they have a black ginger. I was told to take walnuts. They got a black walnut. I was doing garlic. They got black garlic. The police, if they want to show force, they show up in black. When I was in football, we used to fight over who's wearing black and white. Home team wears black. And I can go on and on and on. So if in nature, like yesterday on Sunday, I found out they have black lions. And in the jungle, if you have the 2 tan lions, and I guess there's an episode on Netflix where the 2 tan lions run over to this noise because they hear another lion. They roll up and they see it's a black lion. The male tan lion takes off. The female tan lion runs to the black lion. I'm like, damn. So all that to say is, as a black person in this country, you really have the goods, because the BBLs and the lip and the Kylie Jenner Juva lips, all that shit is to look like us. I'm taking this thing, oh my God, astaxanthin now for health, but it makes you darker. It's a natural sunscreen, and it takes care of your immune system. Man, white folks are taking this shit so much, and there's a new peptide that darkens your skin and gives you an erection. They can't keep the shit on the shelf. The only people that's not saying you guys have it all is black people. Like our black leaders, we need to cut them loose. Like Maxine Waters is here in LA. She's ahead of the financial community in Congress, wherever she's at. She's in the poorest district in the country, damn near. So when we start looking at the big picture and saying, I'm in control of my life, and all this, the strategies I just told you about, Not once do they say, oh, this is a black man trying to pay off his car. Carvana never asks me what color I am when I go to sell somebody's car and get them from under that heavy car payment. Or when I call Visa and say, hey, we're paying you off. Here's a check from Capital One at 0% Visa. Your 12% is out of here. Enjoy yourself. You come back at 0, holler back. None of those things care about your race. The only people I hear talking about race is us and the left. My white boyfriends, they don't want to hear this shit. They got their own problems. They got their own problems with their own wife, their own car, their own bills. They don't care about us. So becoming financially independent is a behavior. It's just like you sitting there with all the beautiful greenery. I'm sitting at home. Neither one of us are sitting in traffic punching the clock. It's not because we're geniuses. We just know there's other ways to make money.
And I know that if not being an entrepreneur in somebody else's business, your ideas aren't really welcome for too long. First person who have a good idea, you might need to go. You're not a good fit in corporate.
Yeah, that's 48 laws of power. Don't outshine the master. You can only do that for so long or before they will take your idea. It's just human nature. So the thing is to start your own thing. I mean, there's a million financial strategies out there. Like I tell people, get life insurance on your elders and the people around you. Like for instance, you got life insurance on your aunt or your mother. They will pass away one day, but instead of being just a sad event, how about they help the next generation? And then how about you get some life insurance? It's 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever you get based on your age, $1 million. And depending on the term, there's things you have to do, but it don't cost much. If every, and I'm this black person had life insurance, aunts, uncles, everybody, I got life insurance on my kids, on me, everybody that will let me get it on. If we all had life insurance, one, black on black crime would decrease overnight, because then you got the insurance companies like, hey, okay, this needs to end. So they going to put an end to the black on black crime because they're not trying to pay out all these claims. Number one. And then you have people, when you have something to lose, you're less likely to act a fool. Even having a little money saved. People with resources or future, they will do better. So if everybody black had life insurance and the next generation got 100, 200, 300, 400 grand, the wealth gap would be closed in one generation. But the problem is, instead of doing something about it, we want to keep bitching about it. But I tell people, get life insurance. And when you die, your kids get $500,000, $100,000 in the business plan of where to put the money, how to invest, buy land, do this, watch the property tax, buy this, buy stock options, whatever it is. You give them something, that you give them a plan, and then they could function. Because now I'm at the funeral and my parents died, let's say, and they left me $500,000. I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm like, my parents left me $500,000. What can I do? Oh, and they left me a plan. Yo, go do this. Start that shop. Put the money over there. So I can be at ease. That's why I like when I go to white funerals and I'm just looking around and they're not all stressed. The kids aren't all stressed out. They're sitting there in black and they got money coming. One of my buddies died. His father left him $1 million. And he's just like, Walter, what am I going to do? I go, whatever you want to do. Shit, are you kidding me?
Have you, people will say, I heard TK saying that same thing, but he's a comedian. So again, how people take it. But I actually tried to talk with the black Atrarians. You guys, I'm a dyslexic, so if I say that wrong, but ACTUARIES. I tried to talk to them I got a white person when I called the national. And then my lawyer told me, who's black and a family member, said, what you're trying to do, because I wanted to do it for East St. Louis. They said, I wouldn't do this. This is like a death wish. Do you like peace? Because in East St. Louis, it's just like East Slocum, where 125 people or so are gonna die and be murdered. And in East St. Louis is like a shoe horse. And so there's one way in, one way out, at least when I was back in that way. So, yeah, so they don't want that. And it's hard to get your lawyer even sometimes, like, man, I need help, because they say if you insure all these people, and even East St. Louis, in calling them, it was hard to find a leader who really understood what I was talking about. This is about 15 years ago. So it's hard. And I love your idea, because I've tried to do my piece, but you got to have people work with you. You need a team.
Yeah, and that's the whole back to the thing. It's funny too. I also have a clothing company, Verbal Herb. I started when I was with Kanye, but I'm still working on the website. But if thou that catch a falling knife shall get cut. You have to go where people are interested in it. And I tell one of my buddies, the best way to help Black people is to do it and say, look, I'm Black, I'm doing it. Because going in, I've tried that. I tried it in music. I've tried it. When you lead with race, it is a losing proposition. I don't care how pro-Black you are. Like, for instance, at Farrakhan, they asked him where he lived one time in Chicago. They go, oh, you live in an all-white neighborhood. He goes, no, it's integrated. Even our blackest of leaders know if they want to be in peace, they need to go behind the gate, and it needs to be integrated. And that's a sad story. I guarantee you Al Sharpton, and I don't call him a leader, but he's always out there protesting. I guarantee you he's in some gated community. So sometimes you have to do well and then go, hey, it's doable. As it has nothing to do with race. I have my new financial planning firm, Cornucopia. I got 5 clients, 4 of them are white women. And my website, if you go to cornucopia.com, there's a Black dude on the website. And when they see me, they know I'm Black. None of them ask me about my race. Oh, you're a Black dude. I don't know. Man, I sat down with these women, and they're like, I know they want to be like, nigga, what? You can do that? So one girl was like, that's possible? How come I never heard this? Man, the point I'm being, if you just lead with your skill, like I tell people, I don't want to talk about race, because that means I got to deal with 2 subjects. I got to get this money, and I got to worry about the color of my skin. I'm not here for that. I'm just here for the money. And it's every Black man would go and take care of his children out of the streets. Like all these kids, and I know white kids are doing it too, but if every Black man that had kids would go get his kids, hey, I'm rolling up a 7-Eleven, they're doing a smash and grab, it ain't happening. Because I guarantee you, if 20 fathers pulled up in the parking lot, the mood would change. It would be, the police would need to walk in. You got 20 strong Black men getting out like, hey, get your ass in the car, it's a wrap. I know I've been absent, but I'm back now. That would fix the Black community in 2 weeks. If every Black man that had a kid, I don't care, even if he's in jail, you can call your children and talk to them. And it don't matter where you are. There's a book that's out. It's called 3 Felonies a Day. It says the average person commits 3 felonies every single day. Everybody knows you are one bad mistake from being in jail. So people make mistakes. One of my favorite people in the whole world is Michael Milken from the Milken Institute. He damn near collapsed the banking system. I heard his name on Bloomberg yesterday. He's got some new initiative in Congress. I'm just like, people make mistakes. So I think that is the Black community. Get the Black men, even if you don't have to be balling out. Black women, y'all could back up some. He don't have to be balling out. Maybe he's a scrub. Maybe he's living at home with his mama. But let the guy be there. And sisters, y'all doing this shit on your own. I go to a restaurant. It's 99% of the black women are there by themselves. And a lot of white girls are there by themselves too, but mainly it's us by ourselves. So black women, you can ball out. You guys can make money. You guys have that boss mentality. Imagine if you brought the father of your children back into the fold. Hey, dude, I know whatever, you got your problems, but what you could do twice a week is you can spend some time with this kid for an hour. You can mentor him and tell him what to do and let him know if he get out of control, you coming for him. That would face the black community in 2 weeks. That, and it's just going out, buying land, taking control. My father used to say, grow your own food. So I started doing it. I used to go to the grocery store and buy vegetables. Only thing I buy from the grocery store is avocados because, it take forever to grow. And pomegranates because it take forever to grow those. And I have 2 trees, but it's going to take them decades to get big. But I go to my backyard and I pick my arugula, my basil, my tomatoes, all that stuff, peppers, jalapenos, I got all that stuff in my backyard. And I cook a half a piece of fish and steak, and that's what I eat. And so I'm just like, damn, you don't even have to spend money in the grocery store. And I spent like $200 to get all those plants are like $2, $3, $4, $5, $6. You can buy a full tomato plant with 20 tomatoes on it for $20 and plant that thing. And it will, man, I got so many tomatoes. I'm fighting the grasshoppers for these tomatoes back here. They back there having a good time.
I'm fighting rabbits and lizards.
Oh yeah, back where you are. Yeah, see, I couldn't do what I'm doing without some sort of protection in your area, but we don't have out here. But my point being, I used to go to the grocery store and spend money. Now I don't. I go there just for some meats and, some small fishes and sardines. I do some things, but like even cutting your food intake down, because what I tell my clients is you don't need to eat 3 times a day and you don't need to eat a big meal. The fact that if you have a normal bowel movement, you go to the bathroom every day, is your body saying, literally, we don't need all this shit. All we need is the stuff. Okay, what you ate last night had very little nutrients, so you're going to need to eat breakfast. But if you eat right, you're not sitting on the toilet all day because you don't have all that waste. So all you need, your body doesn't need the food. Because I went 21 days without food. Your body will turn fat into ketones, and you can live for every pound you have to lose. You can go 2 days without eating. So some of us can go months without eating. But all your body needs is the nutrients. So if you can get the nutrients, eat right, small amounts, but get the nutrients, you don't need all that food. And those are some of the things I started learning just by taking a step back. My grocery bill has dropped because I'm not buying groceries because I don't need it. You just need the nutrients. So if you pick, man, the other day I took a jalapeno and I cut it up with some garlic and I sauteed it, man, and I put some arugula from my backyard and I made this small salad. It was off the hook, sea salt and pepper with a half a piece of salmon, man. That's what I had for dinner. Before I used to eat a giant steak and a giant salad. I'd be on the toilet. I'm like, man, I'm in the toilet. I'm in and out. It's like, man, what happened to you? So that's going to help you health. And it's going to reduce your expenses. So little things like that will help you with your finances and will also make you healthier. So, and that stuff is not race oriented. You could do it for free. Like I go to Home Depot, they have this humongous garden section. And I'm like, man, the food is right here. A bag of arugula, seeds is $2.99 for like 200 seeds. Man, you're talking about 200 potential plants, and arugula grows in 2 weeks from seed in the dirt to a plant of arugula that you can cut and put on your plate is 14 days. Arugula, man, if you put 200 arugula plants in your backyard, your HOA will be over there quick fast.
Oh, you know, no HOA. That's a bad word. That's
Yeah, I
I
got
got
our HOA.
rules.
I got our HOA, but they're gonna have to deal with my garden because in a minute I'm gonna have stuff growing to the sky. But my point being, it's peaceful to, and there's a brother Bobby Price on YouTube you could follow. He talks about this.
Yeah. I follow Bobby.
He's growing his own food. The brother looked 12, and it's peace, man. And then, you get, and then there's farmers markets. So if you want to take that and then turn it into a tray, like I know a brother at Newport Beach, he has a house and he does microgreens. So he condenses it and puts it in the powders. And so he goes, my whole house looks like a garden, but he's in Newport Beach every Sunday. And I'm watching this brother collect 10, 15, 20. He got a line of people buying these microgreens. And I was buying broccoli sprouts for like $4 or $5 a bag. And I went, wait a minute. I bought Amazon to buy organic broccoli seeds, a whole bag for $16, and make like 10 to 15 big old stacks of broccoli sprouts. So I grow my own broccoli sprouts. You put the seeds in a jar with holes in the lids and you rinse it twice a day for 5 days. You got, boom, a big old thing of broccoli sprouts, which has 20 times the Sephora fame, if I'm saying it right, as a grown broccoli. And it's cheaper, faster, and way healthier for you. So those type of things, you start to reduce your expenses. And now you're like, okay, my food expense is gone. My car note is gone. My credit cards are gone. I'm renting out a room in my house. Now that's paying me $1,000, $1,500 a month. And I mean like through Airbnb. I don't do roommates, but you could if you trusted somebody, because a lot of people looking for housing today, it's rough out here. So some of those things, I had an extra room and, there's my assistant was living in her van. 20-year-old kid was in her van, sleeping it in front of, she had a membership. So she living in her van. She'd go in there and shower and she'd go to work. And that was what she lived in her van. So I sold her van, put her in my room. She's building the candle business. She's building the websites, doing the AI, the marketing, creating the ads, the UGC. She's doing all that stuff, the research. She works a full-time job and she comes in there and she's working on the other company. I could pay her or I could put her in a room that was empty in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So now she's working for me. She's got room and board. Now I'm noticing she's starting to pay for stuff. She's paying for the website. She's starting to buy things. Man, I met this girl. She was living in a van. She was an Airbnb guest. Her friend was. He bounced and left her behind. Dudes ain't shit. So she's stuck in my driveway, parked in the van. I bring her in. Man, this was September. Dude, she got $10,000 in the bank. She got 10 grand.
Don't say that too loud. Some family member gonna come. She owe me $5, 25 cents from 1985. She's 20, so from 2015.
But my point being is I created an opportunity for her where she can help me. And so and then, girl I was dating, she went off. People got something to say. You got a young 20-year-old girl in the house. I said, listen, man, if I'm going to sleep with a 21-year-old girl, I'll do that. It ain't your business, and I don't need to do it here. They everywhere. Man, I'm 56, and I'm a brother. I wanted to sleep with a 21-year-old girl. All I got to do is go to the mall. Anyway, but I'm getting into that mess. I'm just saying, once we got past that crap, now she's doing well. And, the company is, for our website, Lytcandleco.store, the website's up. That's 100% her. You can buy a candle. We got our coconut oil candle where you can light it, pour it, rub it down. It goes everywhere if you understand what I'm saying.
I do. And you answered a question that I always ask people. What is a community give back that they do? And also, is there a way for the community to help you with it? I mean, you just mentioned that doing this podcast is that you have a book coming. Any other things you want to highlight, give backs, and how maybe the community can help you?
So here's what I would say. And I tell anybody, I have my website, It's www.cornucopa. So CORNACOPA. It's up. My email and phone number is there. For right now, I just hit the button. But if you have questions, you can reach out. I'll talk to anybody, for free that wants to do better. And I think we should all be getting some sort of advice, because some of us are just a 15, 20-minute conversation away. It's like when you go to a good doctor and she's like, oh, do this, do that, do that. Oh, this is what's messing with you. Try this. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. I threw my back out the other day reaching for something. And, do. Jump on the internet, take 2 Advil. I don't like to take medicine, but the Advil killed the pain. I can move, And so sometimes you just got to get advice. And I tell people, make sure you have somebody that you can reach out to and get advice from. Because some people are out there doing well. They just haven't moved the pieces around. You got money in a 401k. You got $100,000 in your 401k you can't touch for 20 years. You can borrow from that, pay off your car, all your credit cards, pay yourself back through your 401k. They'll take the money directly out of your check. You pay yourself interest. And now those credit cards and the cars, all that stuff was paid off. And now that money that you were paying on the car payments and the car notes, you stack that money for 10, 15 years, you'd be sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars. The average person paid off their car and got rid of their credit cards and took that money and saved it. I'm telling you, the wealth gap will be fixed. Because don't nobody do it like us Black people. Savage the Entertainer said, we'll be on the ski slope in house and church shoes. When we get involved in golf, tennis, boating, even NASCAR, I'm a NASCAR fan. Even NASCAR, we running that. Like, come on. At what point do you have to say, okay, we are, and I think other races know this. We're the original people, so of course we're going to be the strongest. The root is always the strongest. And everybody else, they come from us. So we can realize what power we have and then build on top of that. As a Black man, you are the strongest in the world. As a Black man, you go over to Thailand or Germany and you try and cross the street on your own. Go to Colombia by yourself. Man, me and my girl went to Colombia. She's like, I'm mad at you. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to calm down. I was like, bye. I've never heard Papi, Masaje, Vente Cinco so many times. And I know that Masaje come in Hotele. But man, I'm just saying, we are the desired people, but we have weak Black men telling us it's a struggle. Like, I loved Obama when he came out. I voted for the brother, man, but that brother he's leading us. He's like, well, it's tough out here. If you listen to his wife talk, it's like, damn, you think they were living in the streets. She got a 4-car motorcade to go to the swap meet. She got 4 cars that are continually running, burning gas, fuel maintenance. They're going to need spark plugs and oil soon because they stay running all day, all night. The cars stay running in front of the house in case they got to roll. They don't have to turn the key. The car's already running. And this brother, they're worth $100 million. You can't even get into their house in Martha's Vineyard. But you come up and you tell us we got a problem. And Obama's not even Black. His father wasn't born, and his mom is white. But he's telling Black people what you can't do when he's already done it. And all these Black leaders, Maxine Waters, I had dinner with her. After dinner, we spent $5,000 at the Voodoo Lounge in LA. And I was like, this is the poorest district, but how we spend $5,000 at happy hour? And this is when Keyshawn Johnson had Rain in LA, his restaurant. And then we went there, and then we went to the Voodoo Lounge, and I just champagne, the finest foods. That bottle $600. And boom, she pulls out a government credit card. And I'm just like, these people doing bad over here. And we spending $5,000 after dinner. This Maxine is a black woman, but if you listen to her talk, you think she was living in her car. When black people walk away from that, we'll be unstoppable. And you have the white liberals, they know, especially the white liberal women, I don't know what their problem is, but they know if the black man and woman said, you know what, we got it from here. Martin Luther King, we got it. He was trying to integrate, but at the end of his life, he was like, oh shit, I made a mistake. I need to take my people back to where we were. We were doing great. We integrated and we messed this up. Because we weren't sending ourselves to prison. We weren't putting weed into Trump, or we weren't kicking it with Joe Biden with the 80 crack laws. How you get 100 years for crack, but 6 months for cocaine? That's the crap between him, Bill Clinton. Man, 3 strikes law, the crack laws. Are you kidding me? I mean, when you walk into a wolf's den, the wolf's gonna come for you. And that's what black people need to realize. We need to do what we were doing and function. And then if you want to integrate, like, you don't come into a relationship weak. You come into a relationship strong. Like, black people, we had fathers in the homes and we were doing all that. The Man in the House Act said you can't have a man in the house if you get assistance from us. That means a black man's out in the street. And you know what it is trying to talk to a black woman that has made up her mind. So these problems are fixable. Be it black, white, whatever you are. You can do all these things. You just have to say, you know what? I'm going to lead. I'm not going to wait for our black leaders. I'm tired of hearing our black leaders. You know, like I watch, man, if you don't ever watch, if you watch Bloomberg television, on the weekends, they do a lot of specials. 2-3 weeks ago, they had 4 or 5 black ballers in corporate America, Wall Street. Oh my God, the lady that was the CEO of Xerox. They got some hedge funds.
You're talking about Ursula Burns.
Yes, Ursula Burns.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was on Business Insider. Was that Bloomberg's channel?
Yes, Bloomberg. I mean, they might have been on Business Insider, but Bloomberg, they did it. And they had all these black powerhouses. I'm talking powerhouses. And they asked them, so, like, what's it like being black? They're like, we don't know. I can tell you what it's like to be CEO and start from the mailroom, or have, you know, Ken Chenault, and what's the brother that helped Bill Clinton out with Monica Lewinsky, the Vernon Jordan. She goes, I know what it's like to have Vernon Jordan and Ken Chenault, the CEO of American Express, give me advice and tell me what to do. They're like, we made it from hard work. You know, she goes, I started in the mailroom, and I'm CEO of Xerox, for God's sake. You know, those are the things.
Dark skinned.
Dark as hell, man. Ursula showed up at midnight. What happened to her? And she still got her. She got her African haircut. Like, she is 100%. Like, if she got off the ship from Nigeria, she would look like that. And she's running one of the most powerful companies in the world. She's done now, retired, but now she's on boards. And there's a lot of black people. Mario Peebles, the real estate dude in New York, we hung out with him. The dude is hundreds of millions. And I saw him when he was just getting started. So there's a lot of us that do well. We just have to focus on the money. I tell people, put race aside. Put that stuff to the side, because you focusing on your race is going to hurt you. And I told another one of my boys, he was like, what's with the white women? Why do brothers date white women when they make it? I'm going to tell you why. And this is not the most politically correct answer, but it is what I hear. And I had a brother tell me, you know what? I just want to go home and go home. I don't want to hear about the struggle, the protest, this, that. I just want to go home. I work my ass off. I'm going to come home. I just want to be in my house. I want to live. I don't want to hear about the struggle no more. I made it. I'm through the struggle. We're making money. I want to get in the car on the weekends, and I want to go to wine country, to the beach. I just want to go somewhere. I don't want to keep the protest. I'm over the protest and the struggle. I want to be at peace. I don't want to hear, because I'm black, I got this. You know what I'm saying? And if you look hard enough, half these white women, they trying to get into the struggle too. I had a white girl tell me, I understand your struggle. I said, no, you don't. Go back over to the white America. You're on the top of the totem pole. You don't have no issues. You guys go back over there. Don't come over here with that shit. Just unbraid your hair and go back. Just you doing cool over there. Just and that ain't gonna help us. We the strongest and healthiest people in the world. And I don't care what it is, business, like Black people have invented, from the telephone, from the stoplight to this and that, and the Charles Drew, the open heart transplant, to the cell phone components, to this and that, and damn near electricity.
To the AI.
To AI. It goes on and on. And in sports, we don't have a lot of brothers on the tennis court. I guess they're happy about that.
I only watch female tennis anyway, so.
Yeah, a brother stepped on her, I guarantee you. Dude, when Tiger Woods came to golf.
Well, no, wait, don't give Monfils. He's the brother who does all the behind the back and between the legs. He might not always win, but it's entertaining to watch my bruv.
See, I didn't even know he was in the game. I don't watch tennis like that. But when we come to events, we make it better. When Tiger Woods, I remember it was 1998 or 97 when he won the Masters by 12 strokes. Everybody, dude, you couldn't get onto a golf course in 1990. It were all booked. And kids, Tiger Woods changed the game. Tiger Woods is so influential. This dude is on his second or third DUI, flipped the car, hit a tree, destroy everything. They dragged this dude for a week. You don't hear nothing about it. That's how much power he has. That is a brother man. If that was a white kid doing that, it would have been hot, but it was special because it was a Black kid and people want to go toward that. They like seeing that shit. I watch Tiger golf. If you ever been to a golf course, you see when that big player moves, the whole crowd moves. Because normally when they tee off and they move to the next tee, to the next hole, the crowd don't move. With Tiger, the whole crowd moves. And that's how you always know where Tiger is because the crowd moves when he moves. And I just went to the whole classic out here in Newport Beach. Tiger's supposed to be there, but he wrecked his car the night before. You know what everybody was saying? Where in the fuck is Tiger? Where's Tiger? I bought my tickets. I thought Tiger was going to be here. Because the Masters is I think it might be now or last week. They were like, the Masters is next. Tiger, this is his last event before the Masters, but he flipped his car. They were looking for him. So we have a lot of goodness. And I tell people, I love being a Black dude. I love putting on a nice suit and walking to a nice restaurant and sitting at the bar. And you just know, they're like, who is this brother sitting at the bar? They can't help themselves. They can't do it. There's something about darkness that is powerful. And I think we're the only people that don't see it. So when we see it and we make some financial moves, I guarantee, put down the Louis and the Gucci. Because real rich people don't walk around with Louis Vuitton on their shirt. You never see Elon, Trump, or any of these leaders, big ballers. Dude, you rarely see a celebrity. I've never seen Leonardo DiCaprio in a Gucci shirt. I see him in a white t-shirt and a suit and a coat. I met Leo DiCaprio in LA at a lounge a long time ago. He walked by 20 deep, and dude was in jeans and a t-shirt. The richest people, they don't rock that stuff. It's us, our celebrities at Gucci and Louis and the long nails and the hair like Koreans. And I'm like, who are we trying to be? Take that money. I was dating a sister, and I love Black women. Man, to be with your own woman is like something. I was with this sister, and she was going on about the struggle. I said, you are a Black woman. You have a Black man making you dinner. Candlelight dinner with wine and open the good shit. We were sitting here And you know it's going down when we get upstairs. I already have the candles and the blue light on. What struggle are you talking about?
Hello, everyone. Join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature, and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music, and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores via Ingram's Park. Don't miss this adventure.
I don't want to hear that shit. And then I gotta get my hair done. I said, so let me get this straight. You driving to Las Vegas, spend $400 to get your hair done. Are you shitting me? That's $400. If you put that in a mutual fund every month for the next 30 years at 12%, you will have $1.4 million. Oh, but I gotta get I just said, did you hear what I just said? Like, take the money you spend on your nails and your hair and invest for even 2 years. You take $400 a month, that's $5,000 a year. In 2 years, you got 10 grand. You can start almost any business with 10 grand, especially with AI. Dude, with the AI agents and robots. And like, I used to have to hire, when I did my commercial, we did it here in the bed. I had flowers and for the coconut oil candle, I had a model in the bed and a dude rubbing coconut oil on. I can't even use that footage because he did something stupid in the video. I'm out $2,000. Do you know right now AI can do that for $0?
Yep.
So the point being is you can start a business for nothing. And speaking of AI, we might have 24 to 36 months before it gets dirty out here. I heard a dude yesterday talking about cannibalism. He goes, watch, when things get rough, you watch how people behave. We saw how they behaved when toilet tissue was a scarcity. Mm-hmm. Imagine when food is a scarcity, what people will do to each other. They're like, they think in 2, 3, 5 years that half the jobs will be gone. The Uber drivers were gone. I was in LA with my son and his wife and my grandchild. And dude, every other Uber is a Waymo. Nobody in the car. Waymo pulls up. It's on time. It's sitting there waiting on you. You scan the car, open the door, you get in it, and you take off. There's nobody driving that car. What happened to the dude that was driving that Uber? That dude is gone. Dude, Elon's talking about it taking, you buy a Tesla, you go to work, and Tesla will take your Tesla and go rent it out. And when you get off work, it will be back where you parked it. So you make some money, they make some money. Man, y'all.
So you read the future is faster than you think.
Oh man, it's here right now. Dude, I saw a Tesla the other day with nobody in it. I went, what the? I said, ain't nobody in that Tesla. My son was like, oh yeah, Elon's doing because we're in LA, Culver City, El Segundo, that's where Elon, a lot of the stuff is. He goes, oh yeah, they're piloting the driverless Teslas. That Tesla's going to pick somebody up or going to do something. I mean, it's like, damn, I need to rent a car for today. I go to Tesla.com, boom, in the car, put in my zip code. The car pulls up and I get in the back seat. I get to work and on my laptop and make my phone calls and drink my champagne and smoke my cigar. And the Tesla, and ain't no human driving me around. That means if I want to argue with my woman, I ain't got to worry about who's listening. Dude, the future is here. If you're not with AI.
That book is We Are As Gods by Peter Diamandis has just been released this month. And I haven't finished it yet, but it's here. But it's podcasts like this and moonshots. That's what I'm listening to, not the Charleston Whites. As entertaining and funny as it can be, I want to learn so I can earn without having to, be stressed out. And I've been doing this 20 years. You have books coming out. I don't want to give everybody everything at once because they got ADHD, but I want you to let people know where they can find your businesses, where they can put a pre-order for the book if it's ready. And if you will do your own YouTube channel or come back to YouTube on a regular with your sister, maybe.
Yeah, so I'm not on YouTube now. I was doing a cooking show. It's hot in here, hot topics, hot food where I would cook and talk. So I have my podcast studio set up. I'm just right now I'm enjoying my life. So I know, I once I go back hard in the paint, it's madness. So I'm kind of enjoying myself. But I have my website, cornucopa.com, my phone number and email is on the bottom. Um, you know, you can email me, even my phone number. I have a work phone number. I'll just put it out. I mean, it's your group. It's 951-743-6226. You can send me a text. I respond to income. That means situations that have income coming into me and coming into you. I'll respond to those messages. I don't do shit for free. I will give you a free consultation and we can wrap. But sooner or later, some money's got to move in a direction. I don't do prayer requests. I don't sit down with people and they say, "Oh, I got to pray on it." Just don't even message me, because God gave you the ability to make moves. You don't need to keep asking him for permission to move when he already gave you the power to do it. So, yeah, I like to. So, yeah, I mean, for now, you can reach out to me that way. I'm still getting things off the ground. So, but we can start, with that.
You said something key. You are enjoying yourself right now and coming out of a storm like you had talked about. That's priceless. You won.
I tell you, man, I'm sitting here right now. When we hang up, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, I have work to do, but the cool thing about working for yourself and with the internet is you can do stuff over the phone. You could do with the internet. Like you could start a business and you could do it from your home. So, and then it's nice today, man. You're in Florida. I'm in Cali, man. Dude, this must be 72 degrees out here. The wind's not blowing. It's perfect weather. You can go out, hit the beach, do what you need to do. Once you grab control of your life, and cut those expenses, man. I had a Range Rover and an Audi S5 in my driveway, paying on both of them. Good payments because I know how to structure a car deal. But I was like, you know what? I need to let them go. I let my Rover and my Audi go. Both of them go. It's like, I don't need those. And I'm not even driving them because I'm driving the cars I'm trying to sell. So I sold those and reopened my Airbnb. So the car payment's gone and I got Airbnb helping me pay for my house. So that means I don't have to be out grinding it now. If I get my rent paid from Airbnb and I sell one car a month and my Airbnb pays for my house, utilities, everything, I don't got to be in those streets. All I got to do is flip one thing a month and clean my bathroom. The guests come in, I timed it 7 minutes to make the bed, change the sheets, and clean the bathroom. And they're paying $70 a night. So that type of stuff is not big baller money. But if you can take care of your foundation first, then you ball out. Get you, like I told my boy the other day, dude, you can go to Lytcandleco.store and call one of those guys and say, "Hey, I'm interested in your property. Will you carry the paper?" Which means I'm going to give you a little down payment and I'm going to make payments to you. You put me on title, you get the trust deed. I'll make payments to you. I own this land. I can put an RV on it. And dude, I could be overlooking, dude, on Lake Elsinore, California. You can overlook the water from one of these $20,000, $30,000 properties. Pull your RV up on it, turn around, and you're facing the lake. Dude, I tell people I should stop talking about this shit. But it's trailer park over there. So some people are like, "Oh, it's trailer park." I said, those are the best neighborhoods. You go into the neighborhoods that need work. That's what gentrification is all about. Dude, you couldn't walk the 10 freeway in Adams and Washington. When you go to 10 freeway LA going west and you turn left, you exit Washington and you hit Adams Boulevard. 20 years ago, you couldn't walk through there like that. Man, I tell you, man, it is $1 million condos and people walking their dogs, Starbucks, Whole Foods. Man, it is people in booty shorts walking down the street at 8:30 at night with their poodle. And they ain't worried about a lick of crime. So you want to find those areas that need work. Where do you make the most money? You find a piece of junk and you fix it. I can buy a car on the internet for $1,200 and I know it needs $300 to fix, but they don't know that. I buy it, fix it up, and sell it for $4,000. And there's my money for the week. So you have to just start thinking like that. It ain't complicated making money. It's just when you stop and you start saying, okay, there's money over there. Those things, man, I tell you, like, I tell this girl that's trying to get with me now, we're going back and forth. I'm like, I don't know. I can't afford a girlfriend. I love peace. And my bed is empty. I woke up alone. I get it. It'd be nice to have some coconut oil flying around the room. But I said, I woke up this morning, man. I did what I felt like doing. Man, shit. But yeah, anyways.
You guys have gotten game and see what, especially if you're like 30 and you're saying, what am I going to do at 50? Like you're done. You'll see. It's just getting started for Sir Walter. I want y'all to like this game. I want you to look in the description, go follow not just the website, but do some research, find out everything before you reach out to anybody. And keep in mind, he said the book is coming. So tell your librarians now. Walter, I thank you for the game. I want them to look in the description, like it, and I want you to share this, you guys. Be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.